Anyone reaching into a bag for a computer cord knows the frustration of a tight tangle. But these same complex shapes occur constantly in nature, from swirling water currents to the interwoven loops of microscopic DNA. To understand these structures, scientists have developed a mathematical way to read and identify the specific pattern of any knot. First, we will learn a manual coloring game you can play on paper to categorize basic tangles. Then we will look at how a new algorithm maps knots far beyond human reach. By the end of this video, you will be able to identify the mathematical patterns that exist inside the random-looking messes of the physical world. In mathematics, a knot's ends are permanently fastened. You can move internal strands, but never untie the structure. To prove two knots differ, mathematicians use invariants, tools that measure a fixed aspect, like the specific pattern formed by its interwoven strands. You can see how this works by drawing a simple knot on a piece of paper, like the loop in a shoelace. We can categorize this drawing using a three-color rule. You must color every strand of the knot using red, yellow, and blue, and you must use each of those three colors at least once. There is a specific rule for the crossing points. At every single intersection, you must either see all three colors meet or only one color. You cannot have a crossing where only two colors are present. This trefoil knot passes the test. At each circled intersection, red, blue, and yellow meet. However, the figure 8 knot on the right fails. No matter how you arrange the strands, you'll always end up with an intersection featuring only two colors. This test acts as an invariant that separates knots into two permanent buckets. If a knot starts out three-colorable, it remains three-colorable no matter how much you twist or pull the strands. While three-coloring works for a simple drawing, it is nearly impossible to manually trace colors through a massive, highly tangled physical object. Knot theorists have spent a century cataloging billions of simple knots, but standard visual tools break down once a tangle reaches 15 or 20 crossing points. This creates a mathematical bottleneck. The invariants strong enough to distinguish complex knots are traditionally impossible to compute, while the easy tools are too weak to tell complex knots apart. Calculating the structure of a knot with 300 crossings is considered science fiction. Because manual calculation hits a limit, mapping complex knots requires an automated algorithmic approach. The breakthrough came when two theoreticians who are also adept programmers teamed up to bypass the standard limits of human calculation. They looked at the Kontsevich integral, an invariant powerful enough to distinguish all knots, but so abstract that it is impossible to compute for real-world shapes. To solve this, they programmed a sequence of computable invariants that successfully capture the detailed information hidden inside that impossible integral. This new tool generates a visual signature for a knot. When applied to this square weave, the algorithm outputs a colorful hexagonal pattern. As the input knot becomes denser on the bottom row, the corresponding visual pattern becomes significantly more intricate. These outputs resemble snowflakes that visually map the topological features of the tangle. They provide a unique way to see the differences between individual knots. Researchers now instantly generate these codes for knots with 300 crossings, and they have calculated aspects of the invariant for tangles past 600 crossings. This acts as a mathematical telescope, extending our reach and allowing scientists to see the precise structure of tangles that were previously impossible to calculate. We have moved from a simple tangled string to a framework capable of identifying the most complex shapes in nature. You can use the three-color rule at home to trace a tangled computer cord. It provides a quick way to see if a wire is genuinely knotted or just looped over itself. In manufacturing, this logic helps analyze the structural strength of physical fabrics. By mapping the square weave of these polymer strands, researchers can understand how the material will hold up under tension. In biology, researchers use these invariant tools to structurally categorize the extreme tangles found in microscopic loops and long polymer strands. Knot theory provides the repeatable method needed to identify and organize the complex shapes that make up the physical world around us.